In India, one of the most sacred animals on the planet is at the center of a truly incredible economic and environmental solution. We're going to dive into how a massive modern problem is being completely flipped on its head, all by rediscovering some ancient wisdom. So, for literally thousands of years, the cow in India hasn't just been about milk, right? It's been revered as a cornerstone of society. Ancient texts actually describe them as a measure of wealth and a vital part of a self sustaining life. I mean, this quote from the Atharvana Veda really captures the depth of this connection. It's not just about farming, it's a deep spiritual and cultural bond that has shaped society for millennia. But here's the thing. What happens when that revered history slams right into a really difficult modern reality?
All right, let's get into that. Let's look at how this sacred past has led to a really complex and honestly, a challenging present.
Okay, get this number. 5.3 million. That is the staggering, almost unbelievable number of stray cattle across India. These are often older or male cattle, abandoned mostly because of modern agricultural pressures. For an animal that's so deeply revered, this is a massive welfare crisis, and it's a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. And this chart here, well, it points to one of the biggest reasons why. As agriculture modernized, you can see the area treated with chemical fertilizers just grew dramatically. This big shift basically pushed cattle out of their traditional role, which led to soil degradation and put this immense financial pressure on farmers. So where do all these millions of stray animals end up? Well, the burden falls on these cow shelters, known as Gaushalas. But these shelters are in a total state of crisis. They're completely overwhelmed, chronically underfunded, and just struggling to provide even the most basic care. They're relying almost entirely on donations. But what if this whole crisis, this overwhelming amount of so-called waste, is actually the key to fixing the whole thing? This is where a circular economy just completely changes the game. And that brings us to the crucial question, the big aha moment. What if the very thing that's overwhelming the system, all that cow dung, isn't waste at all? What if it's actually an untapped resource? You could even call it raw gold. The answer lies in a process called anaerobic digestion. Now, anaerobic sounds complicated, but it just means without oxygen. As this flowchart shows, it's actually pretty simple. You feed the dung into a sealed container, bacteria go to work breaking it down, and you get two incredibly valuable outputs: clean biogas for energy and a nutrient-rich slurry that's a fantastic organic fertilizer. It's a system with no waste, only resources. Okay, so this one simple process supports what we can call 3 pillars of sustainability. And each one tackles a massive global challenge. We're talking energy, agriculture, and even construction. So the first pillar is renewable energy. And the numbers here are they're incredible. Check this out. The dung from just 4 cows produces enough biogas every single day to cook for a family of 5. Over a month, it can generate 96 kilowatt hours of electricity. That's actually more than the average Indian household even consumes. This is a direct path to energy independence. Pillar number 2 is regenerative agriculture. And the comparison here couldn't be more stark. I mean, on one side, you've got these expensive chemical fertilizers that strip the soil of its life, pollute waterways, and create a cycle of debt for farmers. On the other hand, you've got the biofertilizer from the biogas process, which actively rebuilds soil health, costs next to nothing, and helps crops become way more resilient. Yeah, this isn't just leftover sludge, it's a living fertilizer. It's packed with minerals and all these beneficial microbes. It actually increases soil organic carbon, which is the absolute foundation of a healthy food system and a really powerful tool in the fight against climate change. And that brings us to the third pillar, eco-construction. We all know the global cement industry has a gigantic carbon footprint, right? Well, there's this ancient building material called adobe, and it offers an amazing alternative. Cow dung is a key ingredient because its fibers act as a natural binder, preventing cracks. Plus, it's a fantastic thermal insulator, creating energy-efficient buildings that stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Now, this is so important. This isn't just a solution for individual households. This circular model has the power to completely transform those struggling gaushalas from charities into self-sustaining, even profitable enterprises. Let's look at how this is already happening in the real world. These aren't just theories. These are actual business models from an ETIO report, and they're all operating at different scales.
You've got everything from a big dairy co-op in Banascantha turning 40 tons of dung a day into fuel for vehicles, to smaller community models that are piping biogas directly to homes for cooking. It's totally scalable and adaptable.
So the vision here is truly transformative. A Goshala is no longer just a shelter, but a modern, productive hub that actually generates its own revenue from clean energy and organic fertilizer. It becomes a business that solves social, environmental, and economic problems all at the same time.
And it's wild to think that it all starts right here. The whole foundation of this incredible system is just this simple, systematic collection of what everyone else considered waste. It's really about seeing value where nobody else did.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. The implications of this model go way beyond just one country or one animal. There's a much broader lesson here about the power of what we might call indigenous wisdom.
What this really shows us is how ancient wisdom can hold these elegant, simple solutions to our most complex modern problems. It's not about going backward at all. It's about integrating these timeless principles of circularity and respect for nature to build a genuinely sustainable future, tackling everything from energy security to food production. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. As we're all searching for these super high-tech fixes for climate change and resource depletion, what if the most powerful answers have been with us the whole time? Just, waiting to be rediscovered?